Hey everyone, I'm Johnny, and today I have for you 3 different Spanish war films, all taking place during different periods of time in Spanish history. Spain is known for its great acting and beautiful filming locations.
Una cosa, Martín. ¿A quién le conseguirá tu viuda ahora la vara de alguacil?
Our first film is going to be Alatriste, which is not going to be for everyone. It's a highly compressed version of a series of novels, which if you have read, you'll either hate the disjointed adaptation, or you'll enjoy the amazing cinematography and acting for characters you know. If you haven't read the Alatriste books, you'll quickly struggle to follow the various religious, political, and romantic characters. There is a lot going on in this film. The movie flows through time at a quick pace in 17th century Spain, ruled by King Philip IV, at a time when Spain's dominance as a world power is slipping due to expensive and protracted warfare.
Flandes me quita el sueño. Pero nunca he estado allí.
Despite the disjointed story, what you will get is incredible cinematography and movie sets, showcasing the 17th century Spanish arts movement. The film beautifully ends many scenes as they would historically appear in the artwork of the time. The battle scenes are also excellent, highlighting the misery that was for Spain the 80 Years' War, fighting both the Dutch and French. The battle scenes include well-executed trench and tunneling warfare, and one of the best shot and pike battle scenes in any movie. Alatriste, though a highly compressed story, is a must-watch film for anyone fascinated with 17th century Spain, and rapier and dagger swordplay, which is well executed by Viggo Mortensen and his supporting cast. Alright, 1898, Our Last Men in the Philippines. This movie might stand out to most, as it's a rarely covered conflict in cinema and one of Spain's last as a world power, Spain having had colonial influence in the Philippines since the late 16th century. Our film follows 50 Spanish soldiers who have been sent to secure the village of Belair during the Philippine Revolution, known as the Tagalog War by the Spanish. Though the film does not offer a broad education on the Philippine Revolution, it does provide a window into what was one of the last battles for Spanish forces on the island. The combat scenes are not overly technical, but the logistics and challenges of surviving a siege for the Spanish forces are well done and inspired by the real event, which was to defend a church against native Tagalogs for nearly a year. The men naturally dealt with sickness, death, food supplies, morale, and religious needs, all in ways that are well acted and believable throughout the movie.
Pero también alivia el dolor.
¿Qué dolor?
Todo el dolor.
The film gets further credit for never truly portraying the besieging native Filipinos as the antagonists, and is in fact quick to point out that they are fighting for their homes.
Ellos luchaban por su libertad. Nosotros por la supervivencia de un imperio.
Despite the siege of the Spanish being the focal point of the movie, the film does honor that it is the Filipinos who are truly fighting a protracted war from both the Spanish and Americans.
Tu ejército le vendió Filipinas a los americanos. Ahora peleamos contra ellos.
In 1898, the American Navy attacked the local Spanish Navy in the Philippines and blockaded reinforcements by Spanish troops. A year later, the United States purchased the nation from Spain for $20 million, even while it was fighting for independence, adding to one of the themes of the movie, being the futility of colonial rule.
Lea el puñetero documento. Aquí dice que España firmó el pasado 10 de diciembre la cesión de todos sus territorios de ultramar a los Estados Unidos.
And lastly, we have Guernica from 2016. It is, of course, a Spanish Civil War film, one of many great Spanish Civil War films. But I chose Guernica because it's not a bad place to start if you don't know too much about the Spanish Civil War, because it is from the viewpoint of an American journalist and primarily in English. The movie takes place in 1937, at a time when Republican forces were losing the war to fascist forces, led by Francisco Franco, looking to bring the war to a conclusion in northern Spain. Guernica, a small town within the autonomous Basque government, was considered a focal point due to its proximity to Bilbao, seen as a vital city in controlling the north.
Bueno, ya conoce las normas. Si le dice a su periódico que estamos perdiendo la guerra o dónde tenemos colocada la defensa, le cortamos.
The movie begins by setting the political atmosphere, following an American journalist who is increasingly censored and monitored by Republican forces looking to control what information leaves the country. It is quickly discovered this control is largely influenced by Soviet support. The Soviets were essentially fighting a satellite war, backing the socialist Republicans, while the Germans and Italians were supporting the fascists, with the German Luftwaffe also using this opportunity to test its growing strength. Naturally, the movie ends with what would shock the world, as one of the first wide and internationally reported bombings of a city by a modern air force, which would become a shared horror for the rest of Europe and Asia. The bombing of Guernica was immortalized in numerous writings and artwork, including the work of Pablo Picasso. Alright, I'm Johnny. Thanks for considering these 3 Spanish war movie recommendations. Please feel free to recommend others in the comment section below, and we'll see you in the next video.